Reading, page 107. Yesterday, the police caught the man who stole Dr. Plana's butterflies. His name is Alexander Hampton. He's a clever thief who used to work in a circus. For years, he was known as Alexander the Great, master of disguise. He was using one of his disguises, a black patch, when he stole Dr. Plana's butterflies. The police captured him after he tried to sell the valuable collection to a large museum in London. When Alexander went to the museum, he showed the butterflies to Peter Simpson, the museum director. As Mr. Simpson was examining the collection, a look of surprise came over his face. He thought the butterflies looked very familiar. The museum director suspected that Alexander was not the real owner of the butterflies and decided to ask him a few questions.
"These butterflies are very rare,"
he said.
"Where did you get them?"
"They belong to my father," said Alexander, who was an experienced liar. "He gave them to me as a present,"
"I see,"
said Mr. Simpson.
"And where did your father get them?"
"My father used to travel a lot," said Alexander. "He got those butterflies when he was in South America."
"That's very interesting,"
said Mr. Simpson. He noted that most of the butterflies were African butterflies, not South American butterflies.
"How much do you want for your collection?"
€5,000, said Alexander. A very good price for such a valuable collection.
"Yes, that sounds like a reasonable amount,"
said Mr. Simpson. He made out a check for €5,000 and handed it to Alexander, who was smiling. Alexander thanked the museum director and left the room. Mr. Simpson immediately called the police and told them about his meeting with the butterfly thief. He gave them a full description of Alexander and said that Alexander was going to the National Bank to cash the check. When Alexander arrived at the bank, the police were there waiting for him. They arrested him and took off his disguise. "How did you know it was me?" asked Alexander. "The museum director is an old friend of Dr. Plana's, the man you robbed," said the captain. "He recognized the butterflies you showed him."